Okay, so I've been getting some requests to put out some more videos here. Okay, so I'm going to be going over this Boston-Toronto matchup. And first of all, I'm going to make a series of videos on this topic, this strategy, which is called the three-point guideline. I use this as a rule of thumb. Okay, 3-point home field advantage. All right, so this is how you know whether or not they are shading the line a certain direction. Okay, so um, let's get into this. As you see here, okay, so you got Boston here as a 2-point favorite. Now the rule is 3-point at home favorite. Anything more than 3 is typically being shaded toward the home team. Anything 3 or less is typically being shaded toward the road team. Okay, so that's the rule of thumb. That's the guideline I use. In this case, they have Boston as a 2-point favorite here. So right off the bat, I know that they're shading this line toward Toronto. Okay, so there's something within this matchup that'll tell you whether or not which team you take. Okay, so as in this matchup here, you got Boston on a 3-game losing streak. You go to Toronto and you see them on a 5-game, let's see, 5-game winning streak here. Okay, so just by looking at this matchup on the surface, you see a team that's won 5 in a row, a team that's won 3 in a row. Without handicapping, what people are going to do is they're going to take Toronto here. No investment, no time at all. They're just going to take Toronto. The public typically likes to take teams that are on winning streaks. I'll tell you why this is the wrong method. Okay, the right play, the correct play would be Boston here, and I'm going to explain to you why this was a play. Okay, so like I said, 3-point rule, they're shading this line toward Toronto. Okay, now if they make this line 6, if they make Boston a 6-point favorite, what's going to happen, what that means is there could be some sort of injury, major injury for this team Toronto. So in that case, Toronto may cover this game because they're shading this line toward Boston for some reason. If it was a -6, the public would be coming in on Boston because there might be some major injury. Toronto gets up for this game and covers this +6, but they didn't. Okay, so you got to watch out for that. They made this line a 2. Okay, so we know that they are shading this line toward Toronto. Now, another reason is, a big reason is who Boston is playing. Okay, now if you look at Boston, we're not concerned too much about the win streak. We're concerned about this losing streak here. Can Boston beat this Toronto team? Well, yeah, because they just came off a 3-game losing streak. Okay, this last loss is very important because they lost to the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, as a 2-point favorite. Now they go up in class from the road to the home. They play a team like Toronto, so you wouldn't think that they're going to be motivated and up for a game against Toronto. They're going significantly up in class from Brooklyn to Toronto, and they're playing at home. They're going to be much more inclined to win this game than they would be this game. Okay, and the strategy changes when, depending on the team that they're facing. Okay, so if they were facing a team like Charlotte, if they had just come off of a loss to Brooklyn, their next game is against Charlotte. Okay, you know what's going to happen? They're going to make Boston a -8-point favorite. Okay, so they're shading the line toward Boston. The public's going to come in on Boston, and what's going to happen? Charlotte, most likely, they might win the game. They might win and cover the game. Okay, so in that situation, I would not even play the game because of the fact that the line is being shaded toward Boston here, okay? So that is what you have to watch out for, okay? They're not going to make Boston a -2 or a -3 point favorite against a team like Charlotte because they're significantly better, okay? If that happened, the public is going to come in on Boston, okay? And the casinos, the line makers would lose a lot of money by doing that, okay? So that would not happen. But since they're playing a team like Toronto here, they know that they could make this line low. Even they could even make this line -1. They could even make it a pick 'em. All right. They know they're going to get action coming in here on Toronto. Okay. They're going to get action on Toronto here. So they're not sweating it. Okay. So that is why Boston won this game. So it just depends on the psychology of the bettors. Okay. So the psychology was taking Toronto. A lot of people were going to take Toronto here because, you know, they've won 5 in a row. Boston's lost 3 in a row. They're going to take the better team. Okay. So as you can see here, 3-game losing streak. Like I said, it's the concept that matters. It's not based on the strategy. It's the concept. Okay. That's how you get the result. All right. So it's not so much about how many games the public, you know, the team that the public is taking. It's not about that. The same strategy applies if they're on only a 3-game winning streak, okay? Because it's the same concept. All right. Yeah, that's about it. Even if they're on an 8-game winning streak, okay, the same strategy applies. So it's the concept, it's not the strategy. Okay, so Boston basically took control of this game going into the 4th quarter. They were up the whole game. Toronto, with the game being on ESPN, they did take a 4-point lead going late in the 4th quarter, but then Boston closed out the game, you know, making some big shots and ended up closing out this game and covering this game, okay? Obviously, the game, with it being on ESPN, you know that it was going to get a little bit close at the end there, but the right team won in this situation, okay, because of the concept that we were using to figure out this result, okay? So that is why Boston covered this game. So remember, like I said, if they make Boston a 6-point favorite against Toronto, there's got to be some sort of injury on Toronto here, okay? And then the whole strategy, the whole concept changes. All right. So 3 points at home is a guideline. Anything more than 3 is being shaded toward the home team. Anything less than 3 or less is being shaded toward the road team if the team at home is favored. Okay, so I'll be back with another video. So comment, rate, and subscribe. Hope this one was informative, and I'll see you then.